All right, so you want the inside scoop on how Colgate Palmolive India is actually doing.
More than just looking at the surface.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're talking real trends, real strategies.
Especially given how tough things are economically right now.
Exactly. So we've dug through their financial reports,
The news release,
even the auditor's review.
trying to find what's really driving their performance.
So to kick things off, Colgate Palmolive India just hit their highest quarterly revenue ever.
Yeah.
Ours in 17, 609.2 crore.
Whoa.
That's a 10% jump compared to last year.
Really impressive.
And here's the thing, it's not just one product doing all the heavy lifting. All their segments are up.
So it's across the board.
Yeah. Strong, consistent increases.
This tells me it's not just a lucky break.
Or some temporary thing.
Right. This consistency suggests a really solid strategy.
You think so?
Definitely a mix of strong brand presence and adapting to the market.
Yeah, makes sense.
And not just luck.
So let's zoom in on one area in particular, toothpaste. Their volume growth there is in the high single digits.
No kidding.
Especially for their,
They're big hitters.
yeah, Colgate Max Fresh, Colgate Strong Teeth. It's like their classic hits are still topping the charts,
And in the CEO's comments, in the news release, they emphasize that they're not just coasting on those familiar names.
Right.
Still a ton of focus on building the brand and innovation.
Like what?
New product launches Colgate Visible White Purple.
Right.
And then, revitalized messaging for Colgate Total.
Colgate Total, yeah, I was reading about that.
Their global flagship, right?
Yeah, and that dual zinc and arginine technology.
Sounds pretty high-tech.
To be honest, before I read this, I had no idea toothpaste could be so, also scientific,
Yeah, it's designed for longer-lasting antibacterial protection and better gum health. By really emphasizing these advancements, Colgate is positioning its products as more than just, basic necessities.
They're selling solutions.
Exactly. Solutions to specific oral care problems.
I see. So it's like,
Instead of just saying, hey, brush your teeth.
it's like, here's how to really take care of your smile.
Exactly.
And speaking of really understanding what people need,
Yeah.
this is where things get really interesting, I think. The CEO actually linked some of Colgate's Strong Teeth's success to a trend they're seeing.
What's that?
Increased snacking.
Interesting.
So it's not just about selling toothpaste. It's about, tapping into a lifestyle change.
How so?
Well, people are snacking more,
Right.
and that can weaken enamel.
Makes sense.
So they're positioning Colgate Strong Teeth as the answer.
So smart. It makes the product feel much more relevant.
Totally. Like, we get you, you're busy, you're snacking, but we can help keep those teeth strong.
It's a great way to connect with consumers on a personal level.
Definitely. But let's not just talk about sales figures and marketing, right? The sources also highlighted Colgate's work in the community.
Oh, absolutely. Their Bright Smiles, Bright Futures program hit some pretty major milestones this quarter.
Like what?
Partnerships with the governments in Uttar Pradesh and Goa.
Wow.
Huge expansion of their reach.
They must be reaching a lot more people.
Millions of children now.
So they're investing in the future, literally, by teaching good oral hygiene from a young age.
It's really smart on multiple levels.
How so?
It builds goodwill, strengthens customer loyalty, and it's an investment in their future customer base, too.
Yeah. Benefits everyone.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about something that's really relevant to you, the listener, especially if you happen to be a Colgate Palmolive India shareholder.
Okay.
They just declared their first interim dividend.
Ah, yes.
Ours 24 per share.
Now, for anyone who's wondering, what does that even mean? Basically, it's a portion of the company's profits that gets distributed to shareholders.
So a little bonus for you if you own their stock.
It's a way for companies to reward their investors and share in their success.
So we've got record revenue, smart growth strategies, community initiatives, and dividends for shareholders.
Quite a package.
But before we move on, we have to talk about something that often gets overlooked.
What's that?
The independent auditor's review.
Right. Transparency and trust are key.
For sure. So what did the auditors have to say?
Well, they found no material misstatements.
Meaning?
Their numbers are reliable. They accurately reflect their financial position.
So no funny business going on?
Nope. Everything seems to be in order.
That's good to hear. It definitely adds credibility to everything we've been discussing.
Absolutely. Their success isn't just hype. It's backed by solid financial management.
It makes you feel more confident, right? But I'm curious to get a little deeper into those financials.
You and me both.
More details on how they're managing those expenses to achieve this growth.
We'll dig into all that in part 2.
Okay, so we've seen those impressive revenue numbers.
Right. But revenue's only part of the story.
Exactly. You can't build a business on revenue alone.
Need to see how they're managing expenses, too.
It's all about balance, right?
Finding that sweet spot between investing in growth and keeping costs in check.
Let's get granular.
Time to dig into the nitty-gritty.
All right, expense breakdown time. What jumps out at you?
Well, first thing I noticed, pretty significant increase in advertising spend.
How much?
Almost 18% higher than last year.
Wow, that's a big jump.
Clearly putting some serious muscle behind those new product launches.
And the marketing campaigns we talked about.
Yeah, seems like that investment is paying off, though.
Revenue's up, right?
It is. Looks like those campaigns are resonating with consumers.
So they're spending more to get the word out, but what about the cost of actually making this stuff?
Good point. If we look at the cost of materials consumed.
Ingredients, packaging, all that.
Exactly. That's also up, but not quite as dramatically.
How much?
Around 12%.
Still significant though, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's a balancing act for sure.
Investing in growth through advertising while also
Keeping a lid on those production costs.
a delicate dance.
For sure. Now, one cost that often flies under the radar, but it's so important.
What's that?
Employee benefits.
Oh, right, yeah.
That's also seen an increase, but again, moderate.
So they're investing in their workforce.
Which is a really good sign, usually translates to happier employees.
Higher productivity
Better customer service, the whole 9 yards.
is the people that make it all happen, right?
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Okay, let's talk about something that no business owner likes to deal with: taxes.
Uh-oh, the dreaded T word.
What's the situation for Colgate Palmolive, India?
Well, there was a one-time credit related to interest on income tax refunds.
Okay,
Boosted their net profit for the quarter.
sounds like a good deal.
But even without that, their overall tax expense seems pretty standard.
No red flags.
Nothing out of the ordinary, no.
That's always reassuring.
Now, remember in their news release, they mentioned operating in a, what was it, a tough environment?
Right, right.
What are some of the challenges they might be facing specifically in India?
Yeah, good question.
Well, the Indian economy's got a few headwinds right now.
Like what?
Inflation's still a concern,
It's everywhere these days.
and that can really squeeze both consumers and businesses.
How so?
Consumers get more cautious with their spending.
Makes sense.
Businesses have to deal with rising input costs. It's a tough situation all around.
So not exactly smooth sailing.
Definitely navigating some choppy waters, but they seem to be handling it well.
Still managing to post that strong growth.
Exactly, which I think says a lot about their brand strength.
And their adaptability.
Right, they're
Yeah.
not just riding the wave, they're adjusting their sales.
We're seeing that with the innovation, the targeted marketing.
That commitment to social responsibility, too.
It's a multi-pronged approach, and it seems to be working.
Definitely seems like they've got a good plan in place.
But things change fast, right? What works today might not work tomorrow.
Couldn't agree more. And even with their current success, there are always potential risks.
Things that could disrupt their performance.
Absolutely. Let's put on our risk assessment hats for a second and explore some of those potential roadblocks.
What could throw a wrench in the works, so to speak?
What factors might threaten their continued success?
Okay, so we've talked about how well Colgate Palmolive India is doing.
But the business world is like,
Always changing.
yeah, constantly shifting, new challenges popping up.
What are some of those challenges, you think? What could potentially disrupt their success going forward?
Well, you got to think about the competition.
Right, other companies.
The oral care market is packed.
Yeah, so many brands.
Domestic and international players.
All fighting for the same customers.
Exactly. So even with a strong brand like Colgate,
Can't just sit back and relax.
definitely not. Got to
Yeah.
keep innovating. Stay ahead of the game.
Speaking of innovation, I'm curious about, like, new product categories.
Interesting.
Could they go beyond oral care, you think?
It's possible. I mean, they already have a presence in personal care, right?
Yeah, true.
But could they expand into, say, home care?
Or even, like, the whole health and wellness space.
Maybe. Remember that line in the news release about reimagining a healthier future?
Yeah, yeah.
Could be a hint at bigger ambitions.
Wouldn't any expansion, like, need to be super strategic?
Oh, absolutely. Can't just slap the Colgate name on anything.
Right, right.
Got to really analyze market demand, the competition.
Make sure it fits with their brand.
Exactly. They've built such a strong reputation in oral care.
Don't want to mess that up.
Another thing to consider is their international presence.
Oh, good point. So they're focused on India now.
Right, but with their global network, their established brand,
Could they leverage that to expand into new markets?
especially in emerging economies, maybe where consumer needs are similar to India.
So many possibilities. They could double down on their success in India, explore new product categories, go international.
Looks like they're at a crossroads,
Multiple paths forward.
each with its own, opportunities and risks.
Will be interesting to see what they do.
One thing's for sure, they're not standing still.
Always moving, always adapting.
That's what makes them so fascinating to follow.
Well, there you have it. Our deep dive into Colgate Palmolive, India. We cover their amazing revenue growth, their smart strategies for navigating a tough market.
Their commitment to giving back to the community.
And we even explored some potential challenges and opportunities for the future.
A company with a strong foundation. Definitely one to keep watching.
Not just in India, but globally.
So as we wrap up, here's something for you to think about.
What do you think Colgate Palmolive, India's next big move, will be? Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.